Why do builders and designers argue? And how do I stop getting caught in the middle? Apart from ring us.
Yeah, apart from ring us, because we just get stuck in the middle instead.
Yeah.
I mean, architects have the design element in their head, and they've designed it, and it's their design and project. Builders have a way that they do things, and they will have a way that they've always done things. And an architect might say, you need to put this particular insulation, it needs to be done like this. And then a builder says, well, I don't use that.
I've never used that before.
That's, you know, and that's where the arguments start. And because one always thinks they know better than the other, I guess.
Of course.
And just to have their own views and their own ways of doing things. But, you know, we also have to put in the consideration of what's been approved with planning and following drawings so that they are, you know, meeting the approved drawings.
So it's interesting because the second part of the question is, how do I stop getting caught in the middle? And I would say you need proper experts. But you've touched on a really good point there. Is builders want to do it one way and designers want to do it another.
And I also think builders look at architects' drawings and think, you're just going to cost me more money.
By doing it this particular way,
so
I can think of a cheaper way of doing it.
I can think of it, that is it. I can think of a cheaper way to do it. What I would say is there is something called the Building Safety Act. The Building Safety Act has come in since the tragedy at Grenfell. The Building Safety Act specifically targets high-risk buildings or high-rise buildings, but has a huge filter-down effect to normal building control. For instance, at the end of a project, if you want a building control approval certificate, you, the client, if you're a client watching this, has to sign a certificate. The designer has to sign the certificate, and the builder has to sign the certificate, right?
Yep.
That means that everybody is taking responsibility for their bit. If a builder does not stick to the drawings, insulation, for instance, which was a massive thing at Grenfell, by the way, changing the insulation, all of a sudden, the builder takes responsibility. That's what builders don't realise.
It's on them.
It's on them.
Yeah.
If the builder changes the design, it's on them. It should really be as simple as the designer designs something. The builder builds in accordance with the drawings. If there is a question, they raise it back to the designer. This is why it's so important that designers are retained throughout the project, even on a single story extension, because it could simply be the design has been done a year ago. They've suggested a Celotex insulation, and that Celotex insulation has been discontinued. Now, between a year ago and now, that has been, so the client is like saving up money, trying to remortgage, whatever. It's got the drawings ready, got their builder lined up. If the builder arbitrarily walks into Jewson's that morning and says, I can't get this Celotex, I'm going to use Nerf, change. Builder's responsibility. What they should be doing is, in their due diligence program, thinking, right, I need insulation in 3 weeks' time. Where am I going to order that from? What's the best price for me? In order to kind of fit with the price I've given the client. Oh my goodness, Celotex have stopped using that insulation. Mr. Architect, what do I do? What do I do?
What's my replacement?
Yeah. And you said about what did you say about? What did you say about? There was one point, really good point you had. I'm not going to watch it back on the phone.
About saving a builder thinks they can do it a different way because it's going to cost them less.
That's it. What I would suggest is that there should be no way that the builder, if you're prescripting the drawings and you're prescripting the scope of works, and your designer has helped lead you through that process, or you've got a copy of our book and it's leading you through that process, there is no wiggle room for the builder.
No, and it all circles back to scope. It all circles back to having the preparation material, everything done in advance.
Yes.
So you know you're working to.
Yeah. I just, and that's why builders and designers argue. Because the designer has designed it a certain way for one reason. And I've seen it before, once a long time ago. There was a design and build contract I was involved with, and the design and build contract is fine to let in that way, so the builder has that design responsibility. But the design still needs to happen. What actually happened is that particular design and build contractor picked up the planning drawings and just started building.
Without construction drawings?
Without construction drawings. So what happens is they got a structural engineer to come and design the beam, and they put the beam in, but they put the beam in too high. So it's lovely and flush below, but affected the upper story. To the point where there was then a very small step that went into the back.
What an absolute annoying
situation. Which wasn't included on the drawings. So what the contractor then had to do was raise the entire floor of the first floor, which affected the staircases, affected all the doors.
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
Why would you put yourself through that?
I have no idea.
And that expense?
I have no idea.
Doing that.
Structural engineers are another one. That's another one where you get a lot of heat between a builder and a structural engineer.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, structural engineers again is you need to be finding the right structural engineer that will charge you proper money to do the design. A structural engineer is an interesting one. This is where a lot of dispute comes with the builder. Is the builder will say, "Oh, you can launch a rocket off of that. We can have a smaller beam." We've had that before, haven't we? A smaller beam. Actually, what you'll probably find is they're right, but what's happened is the owner or the architect has suggested a cheap structural engineer who is designing at £50 a beam or something. So what they'll do is they'll find the biggest opening, design the beam to that opening, knowing that every smaller opening you can use the same beam. And that would probably cost you maybe another £2,000 worth of steel. If you'd have got an engineer that had charged you maybe £500 or £750, then actually they'll have a really good rationale design and probably save you £1,500 worth of steel. So what I would say is we're kind of digressing a little bit. Why do builders and designers argue? It's because builders tend to want to change the design, or it's not fully thought through. Designers, in lieu of the builders, the builders might see something different, and the designers don't want to budge. But the builder might have a very good point when it comes to things like structural engineer. Listen to each other, get the scope correct, find good value people in the first place that you know can design it correctly and save you money in the long run. Yeah?
Or have people like us in the middle.
Mate, can you imagine?
We take the headache away.
We do take the headache away. That's a lot of headache, isn't it, we take away?